Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Business with the Stay-at-Home Bookkeeper Academy. And today I'm joined by the amazing host, Deanna Rogers. Hey, Deanna, how you doing?
Hey, hey, hey.
And today we have a very special guest, someone I'm very excited to talk to, the founder of Stay-at-Home Bookkeeper, Tiffani Higgins. Welcome, Tiffani. How you doing today?
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great.
This is gonna be fun. Today, we are going to be tackling one of the biggest jaw droppers we hear from potential new business owners, new bookkeepers, and curious onlookers. And it's wait, bookkeepers can make what? We hear that all the time.
I love it. I love it when you do that. All right. So, people, I will say this, they are so shocked when they hear that many bookkeepers, even new ones, can charge $100 or more an hour. So, we're here with Tiffani to break it all down. Like, how is that even possible? How do you actually get there? And what do you need to focus on as a beginner? So, we're going to ask that you're very engaged here in the group with us today. So, if you like something, post it. If you have questions, post those questions. We'll do our best to answer as we go. So, Tiffani, let's start here. Let's just say it up front. Can a bookkeeper really make $100 an hour? And how do you explain that to someone who's just brand new to this world?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, bookkeepers tend to make at least $100 an hour, and sometimes even more than that, because the way we teach you how to price your services and the way we teach you how to actually do the work, you are going to be able to bundle it into a package where you're not actually charging them the exact amount per hour worked. So when you bundle it and then you work in the way we teach you how to work, it all ends up being well over $100 an hour by the time you complete the actual job for the client.
I love that. All right. So there are millions and millions of small businesses in the US alone. So how does that create the opportunity for bookkeepers, especially for beginner bookkeepers?
Yeah, so what's really exciting about the fact that there are so many businesses out there is that in order to even have a nice side hustle bookkeeping business, you don't really need a whole lot of them. Which, for example, when I was making about 18 to $20,000 a month, I only had 33 clients. So if you kind of think about that in terms of what you might need per month, to make this perfect for you to bring in extra income or to start building the business of your dreams, you're not going to need that many clients. But because there are so many out there, it just even enhances your odds of getting to that point faster probably than you're even expecting because you don't really need to go out and find thousands and thousands of clients to actually hit that goal.
That is
So,
true. And go ahead. I was just
no,
gonna
you
say,
go
in
ahead, you go ahead.
the last I checked, like I looked this up the other day because I was wanting to do some statistics on it. I think there was like 1.8 million bookkeepers, and yet there are like 33 million businesses, small businesses. So
Mhm.
the math kind of works, right? You don't need millions, you just need a couple, and I'm pretty sure there's plenty there.
Yeah, lots of business and new businesses start up every day. And to
Mhm.
start off on the right foot with a bookkeeper is really beneficial for their business.
Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit more about that as a new bookkeeper. We've established there are millions and millions and millions of small businesses out there. But a lot of new bookkeeping business owners get nervous about quoting and charging, and they don't feel legit enough to charge those higher rates. And so they say, sure, maybe you say I can make $100 an hour, but I'm new. I can't charge that. So, Tiffani, what is your advice for someone who is just starting out with a bookkeeping business who wants to work their way up to that $100 an hour mark?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, get help, right, with the quoting. You could, because you don't want to undercharge. It's
Hmm.
very difficult once you have a client that you've undercharged to get them to then appreciate the actual value that you do bring later. But also, even at the very beginning, if you feel like maybe you're not worth it, you don't feel worth it yet,
Hmm.
you're going to be putting in a lot of effort and a lot of time to learn how to wow them, how to provide amazing value to these clients. So you actually will be doing it, even if you don't necessarily feel like you're as valuable yet because you're new. But especially if you're in the Bookkeeper Academy with us, we're going to help you make sure that you provide the value of the services that are worth the $100 an hour or more as well. So even in the beginning, it's important for you to practice quoting correctly and explaining that value to the client, even if you don't feel confident in that part yet.
So in this quoting, we've said, you need to get help with your quoting. You don't want to under quote yourself, but we always run into that mindset issue that people have around quoting. Can you uh, talk a little bit about how to shift your mindset? Because we can tell people all day long, quote right, ask for help. But do you have any techniques to help a new bookkeeper shift their mindset around quoting while being a new business owner?
Yeah, I think a lot of it kind of comes down to what your thoughts are about money yourself.
Mm,
So, really getting right with your money mindset and how you feel about money. Because sometimes, over the course of our life and our experiences, we all have different views on money. And really, when you have a business, all money is a way to exchange for the services that you're providing, for the value that you are offering the other person on the other end. It's not good or bad. It's just, it is what it is. But some people do have, preconceived ideas of around money. So I think what really helps is kind of challenging your thoughts about that. And if you do feel, nervous to charge a certain rate or it feels weird to you, then taking a little bit of a deep dive into where does that actually stem from? Why am I thinking this way? Is
I
that
want to go back to that $100 an hour that you were talking about. And in your opinion, what kind of clients should new bookkeepers look for if they actually want to reach that $100 an hour and they want to do it as quickly as possible?
yeah, that's a great question. Really, the way we have it tailored is any client that you come across can help you get to that point. I personally like to hit up the smaller ones, um, more volume, but the smaller ones. But then we have a lot of students that actually would prefer to have less clients that pay more. The bigger clients are going to require more work on each one, whereas the smaller clients may only require 2 hours a month of your time, but you just have more to manage. So really, I guess that question is kind of like any client can really help you get to that, just because it all works out at the end, especially if you're quoting properly, depending on the size of the client.
Well, I will say this about you. I think you're actually bigger on it than me sometimes, but you are huge on networking. And
Yeah.
so let's talk about that for just a minute. What is your approach to it, and how can you get someone started right away, even if they don't have a website or brand and they're like, I'm just new and I want to get started, and you're like, let's start with networking. What's your approach to that?
Yeah, so I mean, we'll give away some academy secrets here, but everybody knows in the academy that
Might
like
drop
we're
right here. Come on.
yeah, we're a huge fan of joining referral groups, and we specifically recommend something like a BNI referral group where you'd be the only bookkeeper in there. And the power of networking and tapping into other people's circles, and then those people are spreading the word in their circle, and then someone in that circle starts spreading the word about you, and before you know it, you're in 20 different spheres of influences of people that could need a bookkeeper, and you don't even realize that all these people are remembering you when someone says, I might need a bookkeeper.
mhm.
So it was really interesting and powerful when I first started my bookkeeping business, and that all kind of just happened. Um, wasn't a plan. It was just kind of an accident. I fell into networking, and it was so cool to see how you could meet this one person. And I always thought to myself, this could be like somebody that brought me my next huge client. And that actually did happen. And then I get a big client, and my husband was able to quit his job. And then it was just reflecting back on that, how like going to this one meeting led me to meet this person, which then led me to meet this person and then changed my entire life. So, I mean, it's just fascinating.
I love hearing Tiffani talk about networking. And I mean, even last week, we're real talk, right? I sent her a text and said, "Hey, I need your 60-second expertise on networking so I can help someone with this." And everything she said was just awesome. So, Tiffani, I want to go along this line of networking now that we're talking about it. What would you say to people who were nervous for their first networking group? We've talked a little bit about, new bookkeepers building that confidence in their quoting, but how can they build their confidence as a new bookkeeper when they go to do networking?
hmm Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want to be prepared in a certain aspect, like knowing what you're going to say when you introduce yourself as a guest. You get a 30-second, presentation where you can explain what you do. And obviously, you want to understand some of the basic components of bookkeeping, stuff that we teach you in our mini course at the beginning. But really, aside from that, you just want to be friendly and be more inquisitive about other people. Ask about their business, get their cards, and then connect with them later because business owners love to talk about themselves. So you can hide behind your lack of experience by showing your interest in other people first.
Mhm.
And that actually makes them kind of remember you too because they feel heard and cared about, and especially if you follow up in the days to come with emails. But I will tell you, at this point, out of all of the networking events I have ever gone to, I can't even think of a single time where I was actually asked like a technical bookkeeping question.
Mm.
It doesn't usually happen when you're networking.
No,
So, yeah,
yeah, here, do my taxes while you stand right there and let me hold your donut.
exactly. Yes. Exactly. And if someone did try, it'd be easy to say, why don't we set up a discovery call? That way I can like actually jot down some notes and we can really dive into this together. Easy.
I love that. And you said something once a long time ago that has always stuck with me when we were talking about networking and I asked you about business cards and you said, "No, I don't need to bring business cards because what are they going to do if I give them my information? I need their information so I
Right.
can follow up." And I loved that. I love that thinking about that and putting the ball in their court and we want to ask about their business and things like that. I think that's so
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I just recently rejoined another networking group and I don't have business cards and they keep asking for 'em. I'm like, well, actually, can I have yours? And I still don't do it. But the funny thing is there's a printing company in my networking group, so I probably will buy business cards from her and then I can stand up and say I'm referring myself to her and I get points and credit for that and then she feels awesome because I'm supporting her business and then she'll remember me because she created my business cards and anytime she knows somebody that might want a bookkeeper, she'll
Mhm.
start tagging me and stuff and
I
so
love that. And then it's a snowball effect,
Mhm.
right?
exactly.
So we've talked a lot about networking, we've talked about mindset, we've talked about quoting, and obviously in your career and your experience, Tiffani, you have helped thousands of people step into this business, go from zero experience to thriving million-dollar businesses. Can you tell us what separates the people who actually make it to that $100 plus more hour mark versus the people who get stuck petering out undercharging? What
Mhm.
separates that group of people?
Well, I'd say, I mean, it really all comes down to mindset and allowing yourself some personal growth so that you can build up the confidence. Because, I mean, everybody starting a business, myself included, they don't just walk right out of there with confidence. You have to build it up. So, in the beginning, yes, you are faking it. I feel like I'm faking it sometimes still when I go to the BNI groups. So you have to pretend you have confidence until it actually does come. But before it comes, you have to be open to that change and you have to be ready to, take yourself to the next level. I've always said that one of my favorite things to watch as we've helped thousands of people do this is really just the change that they have personally and their personal development to get from where they are when they start the academy to this confident, amazing person that they're now walking through their business as. And I mean, for me as a mom, I love seeing that because I love seeing the way that most of the time it's ladies, but we do have lots of men can then, show that to their kids. I mean, I think it's a great, another like trickle down effect that they can show that personal development and, new confidence down to their kids because I think they watch, they
Love
see
that.
everything.
That's beautiful. And Deanna and I recently did an interview with someone in who's gone through our program and now is a mentor, Jen. She talks a lot about she's built this business. She hit the $500,000 mark in her business. She employs her children in their business, and she's
Hmm.
excited to, lead that legacy. But she also mentioned some of the other people on her team. We asked her, what has been the most impactful part of this business for you? And she said, well, I hired someone on and I've created this business. And because I created this business, I was able to employ someone, and they're the first generation in their family of somebody who's been able to buy a home. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's
And
Wow.
that brought tears.
incredible. And she came
Wow.
from zero experience. And Tiffany, we even joked with her, I know, when we've talked previous, you didn't even know if Jen was bought into this process of becoming
Yeah.
a bookkeeper.
Yeah.
And here she is building this incredible business,
Mhm.
helping other people build lives. So I think that's important. I love that you
Yeah.
pointed that
And
out.
specifically, Jen has set such a great example for her sons. And
Mhm.
I know that
Hmm.
several of them have worked in her business or still do. And yeah, it's just really impressive to set that example for the kids. So,
Well, she brought her whole family in with her when she did it. So
Mhm.
that was awesome. Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Love that.
Awesome.
So
Go
go
ahead. Go
ahead.
ahead. Em. Yeah.
I
We're both
wanted
like
to, I just,
we want to
I'm
pick
feeling all
Tiffany's
the
brain.
warm and fuzzies. Uh, just Tiffany, can you get real with us for a second? I know we don't like to maybe talk about this, but because it feels a little bit like bragging, but it's not. I just want to be real. What does it feel like to know that you have been a part of something? You have created something that has helped so many people. We could say hit the $100 hour milestone, but more than that, like with Jen, she's employed her family. We've had people retire from their family. We've had people go from not being able to buy their groceries to being able to go to Whole Foods and not care what brand of milk and yogurt they're putting in the cart. How does it feel knowing that you've created something that has just helped completely transform the lives of so many people?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have to be totally honest. As I guess maybe an entrepreneur or I don't know, somebody that's always trying to get better, I don't take enough time to actually reflect back on that like I should because I'm always reflecting on maybe the few people that we couldn't get through or how can we do things better or
Hmm.
you know what I mean? So I think also too, like it's gonna be, I don't know, maybe like even 10 years from now when we like really look back and
Hmm.
see all the huge transformations because obviously in the bookkeeping business they can have insane transformations even in a year.
Hmm.
But I mean, can you imagine like where Jen is going to be in another decade? That is
She's
really
going to
going
be
to
at her
be
beach house. We talked about
Yeah.
it. That's her
With
next
her
goal.
lazy river.
amazing. That would be cool. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's
Let's dive
amazing.
in a little bit because I think, Emily, you mentioned about how it's impactful. I want anyone here, we haven't asked you guys, has this been helpful? If it is, I want you to write in the chat or put a thumbs up. Let's give, Tiffany the love here. Um, I do want to ask this question because I know this happens every single time we talk to people. Some people are like, this is for me. And then some people are like, this is amazing, but I don't know if I can actually do this. So, Tiffany, for the people that are here today, and that could possibly be them, and they're like, I agree. Tiffany's amazing, and this is amazing. And I definitely, I know that other people are doing it, but I don't know if I can actually do this. What is it that you would say to them?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, anyone can do it. And why couldn't you? Why couldn't you do it? And I don't want to take away from how amazing our students are, but most of them are all just normal people like all of us. They don't have superpowers. We're just normal people that decide to do something and commit to it and keep going, even though we get stuck or we get scared or we have a bad day or we're not sure about ourselves and we just keep going the next day. That's all it takes. And specifically bookkeeping, all you have to do is be organized, know how to
Mhm.
type. I mean, you don't even have to be fast at typing. You can type like this if you want.
Oh.
I
You
mean,
heard it here, folks.
There
so
you go. So that was our, we always wait for that mic drop. That
Mhm.
was the mic drop right there. You can type like that. Um, Tiffany, thank you so much for breaking down the numbers and showing us that this isn't just a dream. I mean, it's math, it's action, and it's mindset, right?
Mhm.
So what I want to do is for all of you that are here today, we want to offer this. Emily, can you pull up the QR code really quickly?
There we
If
go.
you're, yeah, if you're watching this and you're wondering if you could really get paid well to do something so flexible and meaningful from home or from the beach or from your own lazy river, we want you to scan that QR code and book a free clarity call with our team. This is a free call. There is no pressure, I can promise you. We're going to show you how doable it is to really hit your first client, your first quote, and get that first $100 an hour moment for yourself. So, thank you again, Tiffany. Everyone here, scan that QR code. Let's get you signed up with our team so we can talk to you and let's get your big moment today.